A 1-0 loss at home to Leganes is simply unacceptable. And you can have these La Liga losses to these mid-table teams like Celta Vigo, Real Betis. You have these teams that have ability and they play consistently good football at a certain level. But teams like Leganes that consistently fluctuate from the first division to the second division, season upon season, you simply cannot lose to them at home. And Leganes especially, you have teams like Leganes, you have teams like Getafe. These teams simply do not care about how they play. If they score first, like Leganes did, an early goal from Leganes, poor defending from Barcelona for that whole first 5 minutes, they will defend for the whole game. They do not care about the perception of people about how they play. They do not care. They just want to get the win at all costs. And when you have a situation like that, when you have a team like that, you simply cannot afford to concede first. That's what Barcelona did, and then they failed to score goals against Leganes. Of course, they're playing park the bus, haram football, but it simply is unacceptable. And we gave Barca the benefit of the doubt. We allowed them, they had these losses every now and again in La Liga. They lost to Sociedad, they tied to Celta Vigo. But we were saying, maybe it's just a small slip up, they'll be back. At this point, there's extreme turbulence going on at the club. The performances have dropped drastically from the start of the season, because at the start of the season, they were the out-and-out best team in the world. That is not even close to the case now. They have 5 points out of 15 available in the last 5 games in La Liga, and it's simply not good enough. They've thrown a 10 to 12 point lead in La Liga. They could have been through first place, easy La Liga leaders by 10 points, and now they're only ahead by 0 points. They're tied with Atletico Madrid, and both Atletico Madrid and Madrid have, games in hand. So let's discuss now. What is wrong with Barcelona currently across the last month and a half? We have here the La Liga table. Look, they're tied with Atletico on points, and they play Atletico Madrid next. It's at home. Both Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid are 1 game short of Barcelona. So Barcelona are in a losing position here. They simply cannot afford to slip up any more in the league at all for the whole rest of the season. They have had too many slip-ups across the last, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. And it's just too much. You cannot lose that many points in a short amount of time like that. Listen, when everyone was saying that Barcelona is the best team in the world, it wasn't, they're gonna win everything this season. That's what the truth was in that situation, in that moment. From August up until the start of November, Barca was that team. The first 15 to 20 games of the season, they were destroying teams, and we know what we saw. We saw them destroy Bayern. We saw them destroy Madrid. We saw them destroy all these teams. They were scoring upwards of 3 goals a game with ease, and also their defensive line was great too. They weren't conceding more than 1 goal a game. And now all of that seems to have swapped. They're scoring less than 3 goals a game. They're conceding more than 1 goal a game. I don't know what's going on here. So let's take a look here at the setup of the team. Nothing much has changed here. This is the same lineup that was used in the last game against Leganes that's been used across the whole season except for Ter Stegen. And either way, Peña's been better than Ter Stegen this season. So if anything, it's a better squad overall. The only negative things I could think of that are hindering this team right now is fatigue. We all know Hansi Flick's system is very intense. It's constantly pressing. It's a high line, offside trap. Players are constantly running. So fatigue is possibly an issue. But what I'm seeing right now is a lack of finishing. Lewandowski's had a massive drop-off. And I mean massive drop-off. Since the overall drought for Barcelona started. It's similar to what happened in his first season for Barcelona. I'm pretty sure it was after the World Cup. Last season was the case overall, kind of. He wasn't too great. There was too many missed chances from Barcelona. And if you take a look at Lewandowski's stats from last season in La Liga, he had 19 goals, 18 XG, and 18 big chances missed. That is simply not good enough of a ratio. Even if he had 5 more goals and 5 less big chances missed, it would have been a way better scenario. This is the case with Lewandowski right now. He is very poor finishing-wise. We saw it versus Leganes. Barca, especially versus Leganes, they didn't play as bad as they did versus Real Betis, Celta Vigo, Real Sociedad. They actually created a lot of more chances. Once they conceded that first goal, it was actually pretty dominant from Barcelona. They could not finish the chances, and Lewandowski is the primary suspect of that. He had 2, if not 3, very clear-cut chances, and I mean very clear-cut chances. I mean, these are goals that should have been scored, and not only from a professional footballer. This is Lewandowski. I don't care how old he is. You don't need speed or or physicality to score a chance like that. You just need IQ and overall ability. That's what Lewandowski has. If anything, if he has anything, it's finishing. He should have scored at least one of those chances. Olmo, to be fair, wasn't the greatest. Pedri, Casado, they were very good. Rafinha was very good. Yamal was good, very good until the injury. Listen, the overall backline, Kubarsi didn't start this game, but this is the overall lineup for the team. Eric Garcia started, and to be fair, he was kind of at fault for that header goal. He was supposed to mark that guy. Whatever. That's a goal that shouldn't be conceded anyways. That play that happened against Barcelona, the one that left for the corner, the save that Peña had, that should have happened anyways. And the offside trap for Barcelona has been poor. Balde and Koundé have been very poor when it comes to final ball. I mean, when the team's pushing up in the box, Koundé's overlapping, Balde's going into the space because there's not really left winger here for Balde to, play off of. Rafinha's more of an inside forward. Koundé and Balde simply are not effective enough in putting in a final ball for the attackers running in to score. I mean, how many times do you see these two fullbacks try to cross the ball, try to put in a driven pass, and it ends up in nothing. It ends up being cleared away. It ends up across the whole pitch. I mean, this is very ineffective, and you have teams like Man City. Man City is good at doing this. If anyone knows, maybe not this season, but if anyone knows how to pin a team into their own box, it's Man City. And the amount of times I see them capitalizing from wide balls in, yes, they have Haaland, but it's not just Haaland that scores these. Even the loose balls that end up off the crosses, they get scored. The amount of times I see it from Man City is something that needs to be learned by Barcelona, because when you have teams like Leganés who do not care about their reputation, they will defend forever. They do not care. They will defend forever. You've got to be able to find the pass for wide. It's going to be very difficult. It's simply going to be very difficult to attack consistently through the middle. And I mean, Barca's been very poor finishing wise. They created 2 to 3 xG in this game, and they scored 0 goals. I mean, you will never have a chance that is more than 0.99 xG. It's very difficult. The ball has to be on the goal line for that to happen. So when most chances that people score are 0.20 xG, 0.33 xG, point something xG, whatever, that means you've had so many chances that were actually good chances that you should have scored some of them. It wasn't the case. They've got to be clinical. They've definitely got to wake up. Defensive line, Leganés game was, a bit better in terms of defensively, but overall across the last month and a half, it hasn't been the greatest. They've been very weak with the offside trap, especially that first few games in November. They were very weak with that offside trap. They allowed too many players to get in behind with ease, and it hasn't been good enough. I think what needs to happen here, and you know what's interesting here, Barca have the injured players back. De Jong is back. Araujo hasn't played yet, but he's back. Gavi's back. They have more depth than they did at the start of the season when they were dominating every team. And it's crazy to me how much they dropped off. Okay, you could drop off. You're not going to be like winning every game 5-0 the whole season. You could have a drop off. But this drop off is unacceptable. Okay, you lose 1 or 2 games out of the last 5. They have won 5 points out of 15. That is unacceptable for a team like Barcelona. And they are lucky that they were so good in the first half of the season that this much of a point drop at least keeps them in the title race, because if they weren't as good as they were at the start of the season, they might actually be 5 to 10 points behind now. And it simply has to be rectified. If you look at SofaScore, let's go to Barcelona here. Let's go to the last game. Leganés. Look, they play Atletico Madrid next. This is a big game for Barcelona. They must win that game if they want to remain at the top of the table. Look at the Leganés game. Rafinha, by the way, he has been very good. I mean, he is constantly the best player of this team. Pedri was insane. Look at Lewandowski. Everyone has a green rating. They've all played well that game. Lewandowski is the sole reason, the primary reason for that loss. I mean, 2 big chances missed. He had almost 2 expected goals. That means that's 2 goals he should have scored. And by should have means when you have expected goals, you really should have scored this, because getting a 1 expected goal is hard enough, let alone almost 2. You should have scored at least 1 goal. I mean, 20 touches across, what did he play? 66 minutes is so poor. 20 touches, 6 attempted passes, only 3 accurate, and he lost the ball 8 times. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. Ferran Torres, which is crazy to say, should be starting the next game against Atletico Madrid, and they simply need to wake up. They need to wake up. Fair enough, they've been very good in the UCL, but the league is not over yet. They did not win the league in October. There's still many months to go. It's the middle of December. It's time to wake up. They cannot continue like this. It's been very poor, and they've got to just wake up. I don't know. Flick needs to change something. You know, don't start Lewandowski. Yamal's injured now, so I guess he has a chance to rectify some things. Maybe he could learn how to play the team without Yamal. I'm not sure, but they've got to wake up. This was I didn't really do a Leganes match review. It was more combined with that. It was like what's wrong with Barcelona, but also combined with the Leganes match review. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next video.